Alrighty guys, so it's been 4 years since Crysis launched on the PC, and went ahead and took over the top spot as most demanding game to run. Well, actually, it's still pretty much up there. So a lot of people, including Crytek, did not think that the current generation consoles would ever see Crysis. In fact, Crytek said it would never be launched on there. Well, looks like they were wrong. Today, Crysis is now available on Xbox Live and on PlayStation Network. And I'm here to tell you guys that they did a pretty good job of translating it over. I'm not going to go ahead and review Crysis as a game. I'm going to review Crysis as it is on the consoles. I went ahead and played it on the Xbox version, and to be honest with you, it looks like how Crysis was when I originally played it back in 2007. Back then, I still had Windows XP, and I was running an 8800 GT graphics card. The game definitely feels like it's running in DirectX 9 mode, with a mix between high detail levels and medium detail levels. Overall, that's not bad, especially considering the frame rate throughout the vast majority of the game is very good and solid at 30 frames per second. Later on in the game, the frame rate does drop during intense sequences to probably about 20 frames per second, but it does add almost a cinematic feel to the game at that point. So, to be honest with you, it actually enhanced the gameplay and didn't hinder it at all. During huge battles throughout the rest of the game, it's solid at 30, so don't think that it's going to be laggy, and if anybody says that it is, it's not. This is one of the most solid frame-rated games that I've played on a console ever. So back to the graphics quality. Obviously, they upgraded from using the Cryengine 2 from the original Crysis to the Cryengine 3 to allow it to be ported over to the Xbox and the PlayStation. One of the big differences between the Cryengine 2 and the Cryengine 3 is the foliage does not react to you. Meaning, like, if you walk in the bushes in Crysis on PC, the bushes will move out of your way, as if you were really walking through them. That doesn't happen in the Cryengine 3. But that's really the only major difference between the PC and the Xbox and PlayStation graphics that I have seen. Obviously, if you're running Crysis on its maximum levels on the PC, it's going to look better. But if you're running it on half medium, half high, it's going to look and play basically the same as it does on the consoles. And for anybody who doesn't have a very expensive high-end PC, even nowadays you still need a pretty decent rig to run Crysis maxed out. The Xbox and PlayStation versions are a great way to play Crysis at a decent price and not have to spend a lot of money on expensive PC hardware. As I mentioned, the price of Crysis is pretty decent. It's $20. For your $20, you get the entire Crysis single-player experience, but there is no multiplayer, so be warned. The replayability of Crysis, the campaign, it's pretty high for a campaign for a shooter, because Crysis 1, unlike Crysis 2, is a much bigger, more open world. It's a sandbox-type game. Crysis 2, it was much more linear. It was very structured. In Crysis, you can approach situations a ton of different ways. You can go about them stealth, you can go about them guns blazing, you can go through and kind of do it however you want, and you can go from different angles, which was something you can't do in Crysis 2. There's usually 3 or 4 different routes you can take, so there is some replayability there, but this isn't a game that you're going to sit down and keep playing over and over and over again. This is something you'll play every once in a while, and each time you play it, it will be a little bit different. So $20 isn't too bad, considering it's a fully fleshed out game. This has the polish of a full retail game at a $20 price. That's pretty tough to beat. So overall, guys, Crysis for the consoles was a great transition. They did a good job. They made it work. The frame rate's good. The graphics are pretty good. They're definitely good for a console. But if you're a PC enthusiast and you already have the game on there, I wouldn't go ahead and buy this just for the sake of checking it out. It's definitely a downgrade from super high-end PCs. But if you're a console gamer, this is a great experience for you guys to play the original Crysis and get some of the backstory and see what happened before Crysis 2. Now, if you're not a fan of the series, at a $20 price tag for just a single-player experience might be a bit steep for you. But at the same time, it's 6 to 8 hours of gameplay that is very, very fun. And that's really going to be a personal choice of yours. Me personally, I enjoyed the series. I like the gameplay. And I was very happy with the way that the transition from PC to console went. And overall, this is definitely a game I can recommend. But you have to make sure that it's something that you would enjoy playing.